So I've developed a framework based off the work I've been doing recently and also what is quite popular within the industry, but everything I've derived here has come from first principles of what I found myself. So if we jump straight into the current workflow, this is what I've developed. It's very important you follow very good architectural and sort of software engineering practices when you go to develop features. So this is the kind of approach that I take. Make sure your GitHub is set up properly and you have GitHub templates set up. So when you create a new feature request, you have something that shows up like this, and the feature request will be filled out obviously with a kind of like a clean template. You want to actually plan out all of the features you're going to work on before you start. So you need to have your either a feature request or a bug report. Then we're going to feed that into a single Claude agent or multiple if you can work asynchronously with them into essentially developing multiple feature requests. And the way we're going to do this is I'm going to show you now. So this is stage 1 of what we're going to be looking at. So I'm going to jump over here to our Claude agent. So you can see an example prompt of how we actually develop good feature requests and bug reports. So I start off by saying, for this entire agentic session, you are my GitHub issues bot. Your job is to use the gh command, the GitHub command, to create GitHub issues using the GitHub template, the feature request form you had seen before on GitHub. In order to populate the information to the GitHub feature request template, interview me for context. Now this is something really important we need to look at here. Interview me for context. All of these models work better the more context they have, right? So we're going to get the agent, in my case claude-code, Opus 4.5, to interview me in order to figure out what I want for the feature request. So let's hit enter. And it's now come up with questions. So what is your problem related to the feature request to? I'm currently not happy with the color palette, and essentially I want to just change how it looks. And then it's going to run through, put this into the model's context, and then it'll keep on asking me questions. And again, here we've prompted the final question for anything else we should be keeping in mind. So now I've completely answered all the questions that Claude has given me when he's interviewed me in order to get all the context it needs to fill out a proper feature request on the GitHub features template. So I'm going to say yes, proceed, and I want Claude to execute the gh command in order to create a proper issue on the GitHub page. So perfect. Your feature request is done, and here we can find the issue. So let's go and have a look. If we tab over, there we go. It's perfect. We have the feature request, there's enough context here, it's assigned as a feature, I'm gonna assign myself to the task, and now we can get started with actually coding. So if we jump back, we can do this to develop our features and bugs. So this is tip number 1. We really have to make sure that you can plan out your day, or you plan out the work tree, or you plan out the complete span of the project before you start running with agentic tooling. Because obviously, if you want to run multiple agents in sync, you need to have work for them to do, right? So we're going to make sure we have all of our features planned out ahead of time. Then we're going to go on and execute. Tip number 2 is obviously we are going to be running multiple agents, and as you finish a feature, you might think of something else that you want to add to the project, and that's okay. But just make sure to always have an instance of a Claude feature bot ready to interview you for more context. So now, once we have all of our features ready, which you can see I've put some examples up, and the one we've recently got Claude to interview us for, you see it's added the features label, and I've just assigned myself as the assignee. So once we have all of our features planned, it's really important we do this first. So when we go to run with multi-agentic Claude code sessions, they actually have work to do because we've planned out their work well. So if we jump to the issues tab, we have them all ready here. So what do we do now, right? We have our GitHub issues all sorted out. How do we actually get to the point where we can have 4 coding agents running at the same time, right? So I'm going to show you my current personal workflow on how I achieve this. Well, I've developed this tool, which is all public on my GitHub repository, which you can clone, or if you're comfortable, you can make your own tooling. I've just made a very opinionated tmux configuration. So when I hit Control B and question mark, it opens up the shortcut and how to use the tool. I've only done this, so it's very visual. A lot of engineers would write this manually in the terminal or have their own configuration set up. And what we're going to do is for every issue that we have on the GitHub page, we're going to create a unique Git work tree for each of them, which have their own claude-code instances ready. So let me show you this. So I'm going to tab back over, and you can see from how I've set up my personal tmux configuration, we're going to create a new work tree from a new branch because we haven't created a branch for those issues yet. So if we jump back over to the issues page, I want to make all unique Git work tree sessions for each one of these. So card label not updated when dragging between columns. So I'm going to make an GitHub work tree saying fix, bug, card not updating, right? Card label not updating. So I'm going to tab over, Control B, G, capital W. Now I'm going to create a new branch for the Git work tree called bug, label, card label not updating. And now what it's done is it's spun up a unique Git work tree for this issue, right? So we can see that here. We have a bug card not updating, and we still have our Claude feature spot, which is still here. You can see on the bottom right over here. So I can tab between these. I'm going to make another Git work tree. And if we jump over to our issues, we have one here for add tmux copy button to card hover actions. This is something I wanted for the tool Antler that I was working on. So I'm going to jump back to here, and I'm going to create a new branch name called feature, right? Tmux copy button. And then I'm going to jump over, and we can see we have bug card label not updating, feature tmux copy button, and we can make another branch, and let's work on another issue. We can work on a bug, or let's do the monochromatic color palette that we obviously created with the claude-code feature bot. So let's do this. Feature, so it's a feature, right? Monochromatic color palette. Feature, mono, color palette. So as we can see now from my tmux sessions, we've created a unique Git work tree for the bug that we're working on, for a new feature for a tmux copy button, and another feature called a monochromatic color palette. So what we can do is we can jump into Claude. And now I'm actually going to give the issue into this Claude agent working on this Git tree. So we have the card label not updating. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to feed this directly into Claude. And then while this is now planning, right, and running, I'm going to jump over to the tmux copy button, spin up another Claude agent, and we're now, for this feature, for the tmux copy button, I'm going to copy the issue and pipe it directly into Claude. So we're going to jump over, jump into issues, and add tmux copy button to the card hover actions. And we're going to give it here. Then I'm going to jump over to the monochromatic color palette, and I'm going to do the same thing. I've tabbed over back to my browser, and I'm going to grab the link and pipe it over to Claude. And now, as you can see, we have 3 different Claude agents working on 3 different features at once. So we have the first one, as you can see here, the bug for the card label not updating. We have the tmux copy button, so it's asking us for more context here, right? So it's asking what should the branch format be. So I'm going to say I want it to be the issue title slug, and we can tab over, and it's still working on the monochromatic color palette. So just from setting up your tmux configuration properly and having a tool that'll help you, you're able to actually work on multi-agentic tooling. So if we jump back over to our tilde draw, I'll put this into dark mode for us here, we can see just from having some sort of good setup on your tooling, you're able to work on multiple features at one time. Obviously, this is just an example, so your feature should be a lot more built out. You should be using plan mode on claude-code, and obviously skills, and make sure you have an updated claude.md. And this is practically how most people in the industry are actually running multi-agentic workflows, right? And you need to have tooling to the point where you can just tab over to the different sessions very quickly, right? And so say as it's working on, and it's interviewing me for more context, right? Let's just give it an example. And I think of, oh, I have another idea. It's very quick for me to jump over to the feature button and say, I have another issue I want to create. And there we go. And you can pretty much see how we have 3 different claude-code sessions running at once, right? We have the tmux copy button, we have the card label not updating bug, we have a feature for the monochromatic color palette, and we have a feature bot that is actively interviewing us. So there is a skill on being able to juggle different agents at once, but if you have good tooling, you should be able to do it a lot faster. And again, the tool that I was using is my custom tmux configuration, which I've put on GitHub. Obviously, I was going very slowly and trying to explain things very well. Realistically, you'd be seeing me flutter really quickly between all of these different sessions and replying to all of the different Claude agents at once, right? And generally, once you have the plan done and it's interviewed you, these models do need a couple of minutes to go and execute your plan. And in that time, you can tab over to your next session and give it more instructions. So this is how people practically, in the industry, have multi-agentic workflows. And I hope that's really been helpful. The tmux configuration and the tooling I have is all public on the repo, so feel free to get clone and use it if you need.